Hey guys, welcome back to Luke's Goldies. So in this video, I'm going to talk about what you should do, 3 little tips to help increase the oxygen level in your tank. Now, for me, the best way to tell that my oxygen level is maybe low is if my fish are constantly at the surface, breathing basically at the surface and kind of gulping some air too when there's no food or anything. If they're doing that constantly, they might do that occasionally randomly just to kind of, get some air for their swim bladder or just kind of look at the surface and exploring. But if they're always locked on the top of the tank, that might be a sign that there's a little bit low oxygen. And I notice sometimes when it's super, super hot, like my room actually gets to 80 degrees sometimes. Yeah, I know, it's awful. But when it gets really, really hot, I do notice they're at the tank a lot, up there a lot more. And I'm like, okay, the oxygen's a little high. They're a little bit stressed. So what are 3 things you can do to help lower your oxygen levels? Well, the first one is the most effective, but it's also something that you might not have that much control over. And that is just heat. If you lower the temperature of your tank, you will get it's a lot easier for oxygen to dissolve in the water, and you're going to get more oxygen in the water for the fish. So if you can lower the temperature of the tank when you notice your fish at the surface gasping for air, that will help increase the levels of oxygen in the water. Now, if your room is extremely hot and it's a hot summer day, you have a hot pond outside, that might not be attainable. However, if you were trying to accelerate growth and you had your temperature around 78 degrees, maybe pull it back to like 73, 74, and those like 5 degrees of drop will actually increase the amount of oxygen in the water. The fish will be okay. So the easiest and most simple solution to increasing the oxygen in the water is just drop the temperature of the water. It'll hold more dissolved oxygen. Another thing you can do is add more aeration, more filtration. If you increase the circulation in the tank, get the water on the bottom to flow to the top through air stones, through sponge filters, through pumps, anything that moves the water in the tank and gets water to break the surface, bubbles going to the surface, water being pumped and pouring back onto the surface. Those things that break the surface and move water from the bottom to the top will increase the aeration and circulation of the tank and will actually end up dissolving more oxygen in the water. And that again will help out your little fish to breathe a little better. So that's the second thing you can do. The third thing you can do is actually add some fast growing live plants. Now if you add some slow growing live plants, you're not going to really do much. And even just having a couple fast growing live plants doesn't do that much either. But if you have a heavily planted tank, you got a lot of plants in there and a lot of plants are growing pretty fast, they will actually release some oxygen into the water, and that will help elevate the oxygen levels. But me personally, I believe the best and most effective ways is lowering the temperature a little bit and increasing the aeration and filtration. Those 2 will absolutely help. But a little benefit of plants is that they will add additional oxygen into the water, but not quite as effectively as the first 2 methods. But yeah, those are 3 little ways that you could increase the level of oxygen in your system. There are some other ways, but in my opinion, those are the 3 main and most simple ways to address that problem, which I actually get kind of a lot here because the summers get really hot. So I do notice my fish sometimes at the surface gasping, and I'm like, ugh, I got to get more air stones. I got to do something to help really aerate that water as much as I can. Thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Luke's Goldies out.